All right, hello, boys and girls. We're gonna do it here. We're gonna have the talk. I've been putting off doing this because it's a sensitive subject, but from the title, you kind of see what we're doing here. Anyway, the riots. What's going on with the riots? And I am sure that there are a million YouTubers out there with a video on the riots. My take on it, they want to put the riots and the protesters in the same group. Well, they're not the same. Most of you guys, if you guys are watching this on my channel, you probably already feel the same way. Protesting, I will back anybody, anytime, anywhere to exercise their right to protest, even if it's something I don't agree with. Now, I might not be there with you holding a sign and chanting and stuff, but as far as your right to do it, absolutely, I applaud that. That is one of our fundamental rights. Now, the rioting, on the other hand, most people can't agree. No, that's not the way we do that. Anyway, with that, what started all this, as everybody knows, is the police officer who killed George Floyd, our victim. And I say our victim because it was a crime what the police officer did. I am former law enforcement, okay? And even though I am former law enforcement, with the information I have about what happened, yeah, dude's guilty. Cop's guilty, man. He deserves to be charged and tried. Now, like I said, that's with the information I have. As far as the way he was handling the situation, there is no call to have your knee on somebody's neck for, what was it, 8 minutes, 40 some seconds or something like that. But with that, in the academy, we were trained to subdue your suspect, to neutralize the threat, okay? And putting your knee on somebody's neck is a good way to do that. Here's where I'm talking about I might upset some folks, okay? But when I say doing that, because you do that and somebody can't get up. They can't cause you harm. They can't cause somebody else harm. They can't hurt themselves. You've kind of got them taken care of there. But once the cuffs go on, no, you're done. You're getting off. He's not going anywhere. If he is laying on his belly on the pavement and his hands are cuffed behind his back, what's he going to do? Roll away on you? He's not going anywhere anytime fast. Now, what I believe happened, okay, is this police officer just a schmuck? Very possibly. He could just be just a butthole, okay? But he also could have got wrapped up in the moment. Anybody who has ever been in a physical confrontation can kind of relate, okay? Follow me here. Everybody, I think I can assume that, everybody has been in verbal confrontations where things are getting heated, okay? Your heart starts pounding real hard. You know, you might get a little tinglies. Your hearing actually maybe will diminish a little bit because of your heart beating, and you are focusing in on the threat that's before you. So you start kind of getting tunnel vision, okay? And before we move away from that, for those of you that have never been in a physical confrontation, when you feel that happening, try to remember what I'm saying right now. When you feel that happening, you have to make a conscious choice to keep your wits about you. Okay, your body is starting to go into the fight or flight mode. Okay, there are a lot of people in jail on manslaughter charges because they got into a bar fight, road rage, whatever, okay, what would have normally been just a physical altercation, but they ended up killing the person because there happened to be a rock, a brick, a bottle, something close by, okay? They did not set out to kill anybody. When your body enters that fight or flight, you heard people say, I just blacked out. Well, it's kind of close, okay? Your body wants to focus everything on the target. Your body wants to neutralize that threat by any and all means. And your mind will not let you stop until that target is no longer moving, till that threat is no longer moving, unless you can keep your wits about you, okay? Also, in an altercation, you got two people, and I don't care if it's a little 5'6" guy going up against somebody my size, 6'4", big old boy. If that little guy can keep his head about him, and you got a guy my size that's just flailing, just going to town, the guy that's going to keep his wits about him typically is going to come out on top. But anyway, getting back to that officer, is that kind of where this came from? Were they getting into an altercation? Was there a scuffle? I don't know what led from, hey, there's a guy passing a fake $20 bill, to we got a dead guy. What happened? There's more than just A and B. There's a whole lot of steps in there. Another thing with the police officers, being a former police officer myself, law enforcement officers have one of the highest divorce rates amongst professions. One of the main contributing factors to that, in my opinion, is police officer during work, they are telling people what to do. They have the authority, okay? They are the ones in charge. So they get home and they don't turn that off, and they've got wife, kids, whatever's going on, and all of a sudden those people at his house are not respecting his authority, you know what I mean? And things don't work out. You got to be able to turn that off. So with this situation, the current situation, was this police officer also, sorry, I gotta make a turn, in his head he's like, this guy is not respecting my authority. He will respect my authority. A lot of cops unfortunately have that. When I say a cop, a lot, I don't mean most. Listen to what I'm saying. A large majority of law enforcement officers are good guys there to help. They want to do a good job. That's why they got into that profession. Because, I'm sorry, it's a sucky job, okay? You're constantly worried about getting hauled into court. You never know when you're going to come home, because are you filling out paperwork for a couple hours afterwards? Are you getting called into court when you're supposed to be leaving for the beach with your family? There's a lot of negative to it, okay? And yeah, you put the cuffs on too tight, so now somebody's going to sue you. So yeah, they're not in this because Yeah, it sounds fun. No, they're in it because they genuinely, I can talk, want to help. Okay? You do have that small portion that want that authority, they want that power. Okay? Typically, they're those bullies in school that are trying to figure out how to still bully people, or they were the ones that got bullied in school and decided that they want to be able to push people around a little bit. That boss that's a jerk that you got, that's a prime example right there. Okay? But for the most part, a large majority of police officers are there to do a good job. They are there to help their community. Me, for example, why I decided to become a police officer was because I remember the police used to harass us when I was in high school. Okay? And I don't mean they wouldn't let us get drunk. I mean, we're just kind of hanging out. No alcohol, no drugs, no nothing. But they're wanting to push the kids around a little bit. And that is one of the reasons I got into law enforcement, because I wanted to be a good guy. I wanted to try to change the image of law enforcement officers. So anyway, so is that what happened? Is this guy the victim, not recognize this cop's authority and this cop's decided, you know what, I'm going to make him respect me. I'm kind of leaning toward that. Okay? He's like, this guy is going to learn to respect me. And coupled along with that adrenaline dump that you have. Now, saying this, I'm not saying that is an excuse for what the police officer did. Absolutely not. Like I said a minute ago, he deserves to go to jail for the rest of his life if all the evidence that I've heard, all of what's happened is true. Yes, he deserves to go to jail for the rest of his life. So what I was wanting to make this video for is to try to possibly shed light on what might have happened. Most people have never been in a physical altercation. They don't know what happens when that happens. Yeah, you know what I mean. In their mind, I was listening to people talk today. Well, he should have just, when you're in that situation, it's real hard. Like I said, there's a lot of people in jail for killing somebody when they never set out to kill anybody. Okay? Once again, doesn't excuse it, but, you know, there you go. So to make a video for the people that have never been in that situation, so that maybe they can better understand what's going on, what the process is. And also for the people out there that are not law enforcement, they don't know any law enforcement, they've never had the training. Yes, we have training, okay? But at the end of the day, we're just people like everybody else. Okay, I mean, literally, we're your neighbor, we're the guy you see at the store. As far as the training, yeah, we're trained in the academy, and there is continuing training after you find a department. But that training is over other stuff. Pretty much like, okay, you're certified in this, good, now you're good for the next however long. A lot of police officers do not train on a regular basis for how am I going to respond when this happens. They're just there to do their job, and whatever happens, happens. Well, that's dark. So anyway, like I said, I'm not saying what the guy did was right, was justifiable, is excusable. Absolutely not. There is no reason that you got to keep laying on that guy's neck for that long. In my time as a police officer, now I was only a cop for if I remember right, a little less than 5 years. So it wasn't like I was in it for 15, 20 years or something like that. But in that amount of time, I only ever had to put my hands on somebody one time. And it lasted all of 3 seconds. He went from fighting with me a little bit, not swinging on me, but fighting with me a little bit, to completely complying in about 3 seconds. And I wasn't a cop out in LA or New York or anything like that. I was just in a little town. But we had our fair share of incidents. All agencies have domestic violence. All agencies have drunk drivers. All agencies, you get drugs. You might not be working a murder case every week, but you know, there's danger with everything there. But anyway, what do you guys think? Leave your comments. What do you think happened? What do you think should happen? Am I full of crap? Do you agree with me? Please try to. We're all civil here, right? We're all civil here. But yeah, what do you think? And as far as the riots, it's just people waiting for an excuse to do what they want. They've been waiting for an excuse to set fire to places and go loot some crap and all that other stuff. That's all it is. Now the protesters, like I said, they're out there because they're doing what they feel is right, and my hat's off to them. You guys do what you do. But as far as the violence and the looting, that there ain't no place for that. So I will tell y'all adios, and we'll talk again. Bye.